Hi everyone, you asked to see me power on and set up my Google Pixel phone for the first time, so this is exactly what I'm doing. As most of you know, the Pixel is the first phone entirely made by Google from inside and out. I am not a tech reviewer, but just a regular person using a Google Pixel for the first time. This video is going to be a little bit longer than my Google Pixel phone unboxing, which I linked in the description. I'm also going to be taking pictures, some slow-mo video, and regular speed video towards the end. And I'll also compare it to the phones I currently have, which are the Nexus 5X and the Nexus 6P. So here it's obviously looking for me to insert a SIM card, which I skipped for the time being. Although I set up my Google Pixel as a new user, later on I will reboot the system and copy my Nexus 5X data over. From there, it's asking me to sign into my Gmail account, which I skipped over. Then we head on to the fingerprint detection setup. When I fully set up the Pixel, I'll include other fingerprints so I don't always have to use my right hand. Here you have three options to choose: a screen lock, Pixel imprint and pin, Pixel imprint and pattern, or Pixel imprint and password. Now that the fingerprint detection is set up, the next steps is to back up the Google Drive. Here's the Google Assistant. You can either say, "Okay Google," to bring up the notification, or you can hold down the home button. I personally find it works super awesome, and if you were so inclined, you can even get it to tell you jokes. It kind of reminds me of the Amazon Echo. "Okay Google, okay Google, okay Google." You'll notice it has round icons as opposed to square with rounded corners on the Nexus phones.
Hi, I'm your Google Assistant. I can help you find what you need and get things done. If you need help, just ask, "What can you do?" So, how can I help?
What is the weather in New York City?
It's currently 67 and clear in New York City. It's predicted to be 67 and mostly cloudy.
The Pixel has a 12 megapixel camera with a 0 shutter lag, and it does burst shots if you just hold down the shutter. I wanted to test out the shutter speed of the camera just by clicking it really fast without holding it down, and I found that if you dump the photos off onto your computer, the burst shot photos turns into an automatic animation or a GIF, which is pretty neat. Compared to my Nexus 5X, I feel like the Pixel all around runs more smoothly, as I would have expected, and swiping between screens feels quicker. It has a very simple Google logo on the back, which is nice, but that's quickly going to be covered up with a case. The headphone jack is up at the top this time, unlike the Nexus 5X, which is at the bottom. If you double click on the power button, it quickly loads up the camera. It opens almost instantly. Then again, my Nexus 5X was pretty fast too. I'm bringing back my original Google Pixel box that I showed you guys a few days ago in this particular edition of the Google Pixel that I received. There are no headphones included. And in practical terms, the phone charges incredibly fast. And here are the cables that you know much more info about than I do. Here's the size of the Google Pixel relative to the Nexus 5X on the left and the Nexus 6P on the right. I did notice the speaker on the Pixel's at the very bottom of the phone, and on the Nexus 5X it's flush on the face, if that makes any sense. So I feel like I need to bump up the volume on the Pixel. And here's the front of the three phones together. The Pixel has a 5-inch display screen, so smaller than my Nexus 5X and 6P, which doesn't bother me that much because I always thought my Nexus 5X was a bit too wide for my hands to function with just one hand. The home button on the Google Pixel is different than my Nexus 5X, and to bring up my apps, I swipe up on the arrow above the bottom bar. Pinch and zoom is still a thing for your photos. Now I'll get my assistant to be a model for some of the photos as I go through the camera settings for you guys, playing around with the features like HDR, except I turned it off, the grid features, the golden ratio, the lighting on whether I want it cloudy or fluorescent. And this is a feature I particularly enjoy, choosing where to meter the image and then adjusting the exposure. Next, I'm using the lens blur, which would be ideal for achieving much more depth in your photos. Since using my assistant, there wasn't too much to play around with, so I skipped out on showing this part to you. Another favorite part of the Google Pixel for me is the slow-mo video at 240 frames per second. Check out this water droplet I filmed. You hear that plop? I'm setting up a live wallpaper which moves ever so slightly when you wake up the phone. And to finish off the video, I wanted to do a test of the video quality of the Pixel. You can record either in 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. I went for 60 frames per second in all of the video clips with stabilization. The autofocus and the quality is unreal. That concludes the setup plus a mini demo or two of the brand new Google Pixel. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.